Hello everyone and welcome to another Premier League review show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for this evening. Another great week if you're a Liverpool fan. The Reds managed to defeat a strong Villa team at Anfield. Brighton surprised the world as they defeat Man City, who have now lost 4 times in a row, which is the first time under Pep Guardiola. And Arsenal dropped points once again after they drew against Chelsea in the London derby. So lots to discuss today. So let's start with the game at Anfield. This fixture was regarded as a tough one for the Reds, as people keep saying that Liverpool haven't faced anyone strong. The goalpost to that statement keeps moving, but Liverpool won comfortably and were in control of the game. Liverpool broke the deadlock in the first half as we hit Villa on the counter-attack. Lovely through ball from Virgil van Dijk towards Salah, who's chasing the ball, gets brought down by Leon Bailey, who at that stage was the last man. The ref, David Coote, deemed it as no foul, which is outrageous. But thankfully, Darwin Núñez gets on the loose ball, goes around the keeper and gives Liverpool the lead. Now let's quickly talk about the referee. And I'm sure you're all aware that there was a video leaked of David Coote saying some foul things about Liverpool and also Jurgen Klopp. Now, is it a surprise? Not for me. The only surprise is the fact that how stupid David Coote is to say those things on camera and not expect anything to happen. We all know he's a Manchester United fan. It's public knowledge. But despite that, he still finds himself officiating Liverpool matches in the Premier League. The PGMOL have some explaining to do and will need to take immediate action on his behaviour. I know he's been suspended, but for me, that's not enough. Us Liverpool fans have said that referees are corrupt, and he's certainly a prime example. But people just see it as Liverpool fans complaining or moaning, suggesting that it's them against the world. As a Liverpool fan, I can tell you, it does feel like that at times. Just look at the foul against Mohamed Salah in this match. Forget the foul. It's a blatant red card. Leon Bailey denies Salah from a point-blank goal-scoring opportunity, and David Coote doesn't even deem it as a foul. He doesn't even say it's a free kick. He just waves it saying, keep going, which is, it's still, bemuses me in terms of what happened there. But, the leak of this video could have been timed any better. And I hope this scumbag gets banned for his actions, because there's no way he can continue being a referee in the Premier League. Now, if he remains, the league will lose all its integrity. And it really is Liverpool against the world, as we always seem to be battling 15 players every game, 11 players plus 4 officials. But anyway, back to the game, and let's forget that clown for a second. Let's discuss that second goal and what a finish it was from the Egyptian King. Another counter-attack from the Reds. Salah drives with the ball, and he's driving all the way to the end. He did have a couple of players on his left side, but he chose not to pass the ball there, which for me was the right decision. He slows the game down as he gets closer to the goal, and then he dinks it at the perfect moment to secure the win. That's his 10th goal of the season, and he also provided an assist early in the game. So that makes it 10 goals and 10 assists so far this season. Quite simply, this man is unbelievable. He also broke the record for the most assists in Premier League history, surpassing Thierry Henry. There's not enough words to describe this player. And as a Liverpool fan, I can only plead with FSG to please give Mohamed Salah a new contract. He's been in scintillating form for how many years now? 8, 9, 10 years. Forget his age. Look at what he produces on the pitch and the way he plays the game, for me, it's a no-brainer. Offer him a contract as soon as possible. Now on to the next fixture. Brighton versus Man City. Another defeat for the citizens. That's 4 in a row. Who would have thought that was possible? Let's discuss the key moments of the game. Haaland opens the scoreline for City. Not the cleanest of strikes as he goes through on goal. Hits the shot that's blocked by the goalkeeper. But then he gets the rebound and smashes it onto the crossbar to make it 1-0. In the second half, João Pedro manages to get an equalizer as he finds the ball in a congested area. Then as he gets onto the ball, he smashes it with power to make it 1-1. O'Reilly, who made his first Premier League debut in this game, got the match finisher, and what a finish it was. Pedro threads the through ball through the Man City defence. O'Reilly neatly slots the ball into the goal and scores the crucial goal that defeats the current champions. Great result for the Seagulls. They've been so impressive so far this season. And for me, it's not a huge surprise that they got something from this game because they are more than capable of producing these type of results. But the huge surprise is that City have lost the last 4 games under Pep Guardiola for the first time ever in his Manchester City career. Is this a blip? It certainly is. But I think they'll be relieved more than anyone else that we have an international break now so they can regroup, analyze what's gone wrong, and find solutions in upcoming games. And they actually face Liverpool in the next few weeks. So that's going to be one hell of a counter between 2 big teams there. On to the next fixture. Chelsea versus Arsenal. It was all square at Stamford Bridge as neither team walked away with the win. It was actually Arsenal that broke the deadlock in the second half as Martinelli gets the ball near the 6-yard box in a very tight angle, but he somehow managed to squeeze it in towards the corner of the goal to open the score sheet. For me, poor goalkeeping from Sanchez. You can't get beaten in that position at this level. But then moments later, Pedro Neto drives with the ball and smashes it low and into the back of the net to make it 1-1. Great finish from the winger, who helps rescue a point for the home team. Overall, I'd probably say it's a fair result as it wasn't the best of games and neither team dominated. But Arsenal are getting further and further away from the top right now. First spot looks like a bit like a blur for them as they're currently 9 points away from Liverpool. So they've certainly got some work to do. I would say one more defeat in the coming weeks and they're out of the title race. But drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Next fixture, Manchester United versus Leicester City. It looks like Manchester United will be bidding farewell to Ruud van Nistelrooy, who helped his club claim another 3 points after defeating Leicester City 3-0. Bruno Fernandes opens the scoreline with a great finish from the edge of the box, smashes it low into the bottom corner. Then I thought he made it 2-0 with a surging header, but replay shows that he completely missed the ball. He ends up hitting his thigh and onto the Leicester defender Christensen before it rolls into the back of the net. So an own goal is awarded, but then Garnacho makes it 3-0 with a fantastic curl strike into the top bin to secure the win for Manchester United. Now, Ruud van Nistelrooy makes the managerial position seem very easy. So the big question is, should Manchester United have offered him a role instead of appointing Amorim? For me, it's a yes and no, and I'll explain why. I think they maybe should have given him the chance to manage the team until the end of the season. He would have added a bit of stability into the team. You know, he's a familiar face. He's a club legend. So it would have been where the fans wouldn't get onto him so quickly, in my opinion. And it also gives the opportunity for Amorim to come into the summer, evaluate what's happened in this past season, and then make the necessary reinforcements. As I personally feel like when Amorim comes in, he will struggle with this current crop of players. His formation is predominantly playing with wing backs. They haven't got a single wing back in their team. So a lot of them do not fit the style of play or the system that he will deploy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And we'll find out in due course as he officially begins his role after the international break. Remains to be seen what happens with Ruud van Nistelrooy. There are rumours circling that he could be offered a role, but as it stands, it looks like he will be departing Manchester United. On to the next fixture. There with me. I feel for Tottenham fans. You literally don't know what team will turn up every time that they step onto the pitch. The inconsistency is something else. They lost 2-1 at home to Ipswich Town. But let's talk about the goals. The first goal is the type of goal you'd practice as a kid, hoping you score in the match. And Zamodic does exactly that. He scores an overhead kick for Ipswich Town to break the deadlock. And Zamodic then becomes provider as he hits a low cross towards Liam Delap, who smashes it into the roof of the net to make it 2-0. Spurs get their consolation goal as Solanke scores from close range. So look, let's give credit to Ipswich Town. Well done for getting the win. I think they deserve all the plaudits for their result. Tottenham, on the other hand, this inconsistent way of playing will cost them a top 4 finish, in my opinion. They need to do much better. I don't think it's necessarily lack of ability. It's more of a psychology thing. They need to be stronger mentally as a collective in order to progress as a team. Otherwise, they'll be left behind. So a lot of work to be done for Tottenham to secure European football, in my opinion. But in other games, Newcastle came to the City ground and ruined the party for informed Forest as they beat them 3-1. But it wasn't all rosy as Newcastle were trailing in the first half as Murillo scores his first Forest goal with a close-range header. But Newcastle responded in the second half as Isaac equalized with a point-blank finish. Joe Linton then makes it 2-1 with a fantastic left-footed finish posting in. Newcastle then hit Forest with a counter-attack as Harvey Barnes is through on goal, hits a low shot towards that near post to make it 3-1, and they take all 3 points. So well done to the Toon Army. They got the win that pushes them in 8th place. Forest have dropped to 5th in the league. Next fixture, Brentford versus Bournemouth. Brentford are certainly the team that are bagging the goals this season as they secure another win in this 5-goal thriller. Evan Nielsen opens the scoreline for Bournemouth as he drags the ball around the keeper and hits it into the back of the empty net. Brentford again get the equaliser through a Wissa header just before half-time. Then in the second half, Kluivert makes it 2-1 with a nicely placed finish. Damsgaard, who's really stepped up this season for Brentford, makes it 2-2 with a low finish from a very tight angle. Great strike from the Danish midfielder. But let's talk about the keeper, Kepa. What was he doing? What awful goalkeeping. Probably less said the better. Brentford then stole the show with the team goal of the day, I'd say. And it all started from the halfway line as Janot threads the through ball to Wissa, who dinks the ball over the keeper to make it 3-2 and helped secure the home win. On to the next fixture. Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Fulham managed to get a great win over a struggling Palace side, but it was Emil Smith-Rowe who grabs the headlines as he opened the score sheet with a fantastic left-footed finish. Then in the second half, Fulham thought they scored their second goal through Smith-Rowe, but his effort was ruled out for offside. But then moments later, Palace's afternoon got from bad to worse as Kamada picks up a red card after a horrific tackle on Tete. For me, it was the right decision to send him off. And then it was a super sub, Harry Wilson, who grabbed the second goal as he scores from close range. Worrying times for Crystal Palace. You have to say that the manager is under huge pressure at the minute and his job could be under fire. Right now, it just doesn't look like the season has even started for the Eagles. So worrying times for the South London team there. On to the next fixture. Wolves versus Southampton. Now, I'm surprised to even say this out loud as I don't think that they've performed that badly this season from the performances I've seen. But Wolves record their first win of the season against Southampton this past weekend. And it was Pablo Sarabia who opens the scoreline with a neat clinical finish. Lovely through ball from Cunha. And then Cunha makes it 2-0 with a spectacular strike from 25 yards out. What a finish from the Brazilian. Great win for Wolves, but I don't want to sound like a downer. If Wolves have any chance of staying up this season, they need to keep hold of Cunha, who for me has been in fantastic form. And the reason I'm saying that, I have a feeling that a lot of teams, including teams within the Premier League, will try to sign the striker this January because he could help a lot of the top sides in terms of converting finishes, and he's a playmaker at the same time. So he's a player that will be sought after, in my opinion. And the final fixture of the match week 11 is West Ham versus Everton. It was a stalemate at the London Stadium as neither team could break the deadlock. But out of both teams, you would say Everton will be pleased that they got something from the game, as West Ham produced a decent amount of chances to secure the win, especially in the second half. Somerville was very close to scoring, but his left-footed strikes the post. Then Danny Ings had a couple of shots, but he was denied by Pickford. So a point apiece, and that concludes our match week 11. So it's only right that we go on to our next segment and announce the FPL Manager of the Week, and that goes to Ilham Baihaki, and his team name is called Gerbong Tululas FC. I hope I pronounced that right. It's a bit of an unusual word there. So he managed to attain 93 points, which is a very good score. So well done to you, Ilham. In terms of my performance, I'll be honest, I didn't update my team, so that doesn't help me in regards to my score. But I only got 56 points. I'm not doing well. I think I've dropped to 74th in the league. So, yeah, a lot of work to do from my side. So what we can do now, we can review our league table and see if there's any changes in the top 10. So let's start with top 10. So there we go. Made the screen a little bit bigger. As you can see, we've got a new leader. And the leader is Godwin Kusi Ochere, and his team is called God is the Greatest. What a name there. He has pipped Melissa Morris, who's been number one for quite a few weeks now. He managed to get 86 points, so well done to Godwin. Vipin Mahan has moved up the table as well with 83 points. He's in second place. Melissa Morris has dropped to third. Jake Harrison remains in fourth. Kadar Muzit has dropped to fifth. Chris Barnett has moved up to sixth place. Ilham Baihaki, who is our FPL Manager of the Week, he has moved up to seventh place. Ten Hag MY has moved up to eighth. Daniel Afale Domina, big up to Daniel with his team Cash Me Outside. He has moved to ninth. Pippo Inzaghi is in 10th place. So a couple of new names that I see in the table. So great to have you guys on board, and thank you for getting involved. And yeah, definitely bringing up the points there. Let's have a look. I'm 74th, as I mentioned. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do. So less said about my performance, the better. Before we conclude the show, let's quickly have a look at game week or match week 12. I know it's a couple of weeks away, but this will be the last show before we do our next review. So let's go into it. Obviously, it'll be depending on team selection, but we'll just go based on form in terms of who I believe will be victorious. So the first game, it's a midday kickoff between Leicester City and Chelsea. I'm going to give this match a win for Chelsea. I think it'll be 1-0. I think it'll be a narrow win for the Blues. Arsenal face Nottingham Forest. On paper, you're probably thinking that's an easy game, but look at current form. Forest have been a very strong side. I'm actually going to say Arsenal will drop points. I'm not just trying to sound like a hater here. I think Forest might want to respond after the defeat against Newcastle, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Crystal Palace. Sorry, Palace fans. I think it'll be a Villa win, and I think it'll be 2-0 to Villa. Bournemouth versus Brighton, which will actually be a good game to watch. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw for that fixture. I think there'll be lots of goals. Everton versus Brentford. I'm going for a Brentford win. I think they'll nick the win with a 2-1 victory. Fulham versus Wolves. Yeah, I know Wolves just notched up their first win, but I think it will be back to losing streak again. I think Fulham will get the win. I think it will finish 2-0. And then Man City versus Spurs. Now, this is such a hard game to predict. Which Spurs team is going to turn up? Is it the one that we've seen in recent weeks that have, eclipsed teams? Or is it the one that just lost to Ipswich over the weekend? Who knows? I'm going to give it as a draw because both teams are struggling for form. And I don't think, City's luck will just change overnight. So I'm going to give it as a 1-1 draw. And City don't have the best of records against Spurs. So the Sunday fixtures, Southampton versus Liverpool. I'm going for a 3-0 victory to Liverpool. Ipswich Town versus Manchester United. This will be Amorim's first game in charge, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see how he sets up with the team. I'm going to go for a surprise win. I'm going to go for Ipswich home victory there. I'm going to go for a 1-0 score. And then the Monday night football, we've got Newcastle versus West Ham. I'm going to go for a Newcastle win. I think it will end as 2-1. So that is my predictions. I'll present my predictions in the next episode. Let's see, how much I've got correct. But yes, before we conclude the show, I can see we've got a few comments. So let's go through them together. Big up to Daz. As always, he says, big up, Ozzy, hope you are well today. Big up, Daz. I'm doing well. Thank you. I hope you're good as well, Daz. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in. And we've got another comment here. A few more comments here from Abdul Rahim, who says, hi, Ozzy and chat. How are you all? We need overseas referees from Europe and other parts of the world. Some of the English referees are not good enough and need to be vetted whenever we walk along. Thanks. Big up yourself, Abdul. Thank you for your tuning and thank you for your comments as well. Do you know what? You make a great point there because we're getting so many players from all over the world. Our managers are, there's not a lot of English managers. That's probably why we've got Thomas Tuchel as the English coach. So why can't we do that for referees? I think it's a very valid point. The level of officiating in this country is so woeful. It's actually quite embarrassing. And the thing that's just been revealed from David Coote, some will say, it's an unfortunate incident that, he got filmed. But, why are you getting filmed and saying ridiculous comments on camera like that? But, it's been no open secret. He's a Man United fan. He had a Facebook profile with Old Trafford in his background image. So, we know the score. And a lot of the referees are based up north. So they will always be, alliances to their hometown club. So it only makes sense for us to get referees from abroad because they won't have that biased opinion on certain teams or anything to that nature. It will actually be more of a neutral ground. So they will just be officiating with the game that they see in front of their eyes. So I actually think that's a valid case. Whether it happens, I do not know. I don't think it will, but I think it should. I think it's time that there's a change because we all make this big deal about VAR, and I'll probably say it on my show numerous times in terms of how ridiculous it is that we can't get decisions correct. But it might not just be the technology; it's the people that are using the technology that don't know how to do it. So it's a very, very valid point. I think we do need to look elsewhere, but then you might get some people say we have to keep it homegrown and not to look outside, and so it's out for discussion, but I think we should possibly look into that going forward, in my opinion. And then Abdul Rahim's second comment is, I would like to respectfully suggest that Liverpool consider taking legal action against referee David Coote. It is my opinion that Liverpool have been treated unfairly by English referees in the past. You'll never walk along. Look, Abdul, you're not incorrect there at all. You are spot on. And, you're a Liverpool fan, I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm not saying it from a biased point of view, but we've had ridiculous decisions against us. Look at the Luis Diaz goal against Tottenham last year, and nothing came out of it. So there's always been that perception that, Liverpool do not get the decisions. Some fans call us Liverpool, which is ridiculous. It's more like it's Manchester United more than anything else. But under Ferguson, they used to get the decisions all the time. They used to get Fergie time, all that sort of stuff. But Liverpool, it always feels like we're handicapped, where the referee seems to be the 12th man for the opposition, and that's just how it feels. And this game, thankfully, our quality shined in terms of Darwin Núñez getting that opening goal, because if that goal didn't happen, I know I'd be fuming, and I know you'd probably be fuming as well in terms of what happens, because that was a blatant foul. and it's a red card. Forget the foul; it was a red card, but he didn't even award it as a foul. So that's worrying. That's when you can tell there's corruption there. It's so obvious, whether it's purposely done or not, and that one's definitely purposely done. But there's other referees that have given decisions against Liverpool, but it's been for me more subconscious because of their hate or dislike for Liverpool, because they're from up north and they support teams like City or United or Leeds or whatever. They might not have a liking towards Liverpool at all, due to our success. And then when you're successful, you do tend to attract fans that are envious of your glory and all that sort of stuff. So I do hope Liverpool take action. Jurgen Klopp might need to get involved as well. He was called a certain word or two. So yeah, I think they should as well, because it just shows that it's not a level playing field right now, and there needs to be serious action taken against this referee. If he's still refereeing in this country, forget Premier League. If he's still in this country, then yeah, the FA have a lot to answer, in my opinion. Another comment here from Abdul Rahim says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest and merciful, of course, all day long. And he said, like, comment, subscribe, share. International break now. Next 5 games for Liverpool: Southampton away, Real Madrid home, Man City away, Newcastle away, Everton home. You never walk alone. Those fixtures look exciting, especially the Real Madrid and Man City one. Now, if we get the win against Madrid and City, Madrid is kind of a one-off because in a different competition. But if we beat City, I'm not going to lie to you guys, my tone might change a little bit. I might be a little bit shameless and say out loud that we're going to win the league. Right now, I'm being a bit more humble. Say, let's see how it goes. Let's take it one game at a time. But if we beat City, it might all change. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, in terms of the fixtures, it's funny because we were analysing fixtures for October, and a lot of us fans were saying, oh, this could be a difficult period for Liverpool because they're facing Chelsea, Arsenal, Leverkusen, Leipzig, Villa, all these strong teams. And, Liverpool still haven't faced any strong teams, but we defeated everyone. The only time we dropped points was against Arsenal, which, on paper, I'd take a draw against Arsenal, especially at the Emirates, where we don't have the best of records. So the fixtures that we've presented on the screen right now, they're all winnable. Obviously, Real Madrid, you're thinking, great team, but they're having a lot of injury issues. I think they picked up 2-3 injuries in their last fixture over the weekend. And so they're struggling for a right back, because I think Vasquez, who ended up being a makeshift right back, he's picked up an injury. And I think Militao has picked up an ACL. So not that I'm celebrating their injuries, but this is the fact that they're not available. So they'll need to do a lot of reshuffling. I think Tchouaméni might be required to play at centre-back. So slightly unfamiliar territory for him. So it should be an exciting game at Anfield. And then the Man City one is a big one as well. It's at home. So I'm looking forward to these fixtures. These international breaks, I don't like them, to be honest with you. But hey, it is what it is. We just got to deal with it as they come along. And then another comment here from Abdul Rahim. He said, what do you think about Murillo, centre-back from Nottingham Forest, Kerkez from Bournemouth, Martin Zubimendi, associated Isaac, number 9 from Newcastle. So in terms of Murillo, he's definitely, I think he's definitely presenting himself as a solid centre-back. I believe we were actually linked with him before he joined Nottingham Forest. But from what I've seen in the Premier League, I think he's been very solid, very strong. Just scored his first goal over the weekend for Forest. Good left foot. He could be an interesting option for a big team like Liverpool, if I'm being honest. I think I mentioned this in my last show that I did last week. I would like Liverpool to get a right-footed centre-back rather than a left-footed one. That's just my opinion. I think next year we should just sign an out-and-out left-back going forward, and then recruit a centre-back that can cover for Konate. I want it to be a player that is like for Konate in terms of what he brings to the table, because I feel like when Konate is not in the team, we do miss his physical presence at the back. So someone that can play alongside Konate but has similar traits to him would be the ideal signing. So I've pinpointed as the next signing not could, because I don't have no control knowledge, but I think we should be looking at someone like Diomande from Sporting. He looks like the right profile for me. Obviously, his gaffer's going to United, so they might be trying to sign him in the coming windows. Hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, Murillo, good player. Kirkers, I read earlier today we were linked with a 50 million move for him. A player that I do like. I've been very impressed since he's joined Bournemouth last season. Very attack-minded, very good, strong defensively as well. Not bad on a defensive front, but 50 million is an absolutely outrageous 3-4 left back. So for me, if that's the money they want, it's a no-go. We'll have to look elsewhere for another target. Zubimendi, it's a funny one because I do rate the player, but I'm not going to sound paid just because I said I'm going to say that because he rejected us, I don't want him. My question marks would be, is he committed to the cause? Because if he does end up joining Liverpool, for example, is he there for the right reasons, or is he just there because he felt like he made an error and then had to, had to just redo it and then actually join the club? Because I don't want it to be where he comes over to Liverpool and then feels homesick, because fair play, you have to move to a different part of the world, but you have to be ready for it as well. And if you're not ready, there's no point of making that move. So for Zubimendi, I think it's more of a personal issue where if he feels that he's ready to make that move and go over to another country, a new city, a new culture, a new climate, and all that rolled up, then he'd be a great signing. On paper, ability-wise, yeah, he'll be a great signing. But I think there'll be other clubs after him as well. I think Man City would be looking into signing him in the window coming up because of the injury to Rodri. And I think the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, they might be looking to invest into a player like, probably not Barcelona, they don't have money, but Real Madrid, I believe, could be linked with him as well. There's already rumours that they're willing to ship Tchouaméni in the coming window, maybe even next summer. So maybe he could be marked as a possible replacement for Tchouaméni at Real Madrid. So no, some interesting players there. And Isaac, I like Isaac. I think he's a top striker. If I was to sign a striker from the Premier League, he'd be my first choice. But if I could sign any striker in world football, it'd be Gyökeres from Sporting. Seems to be a big Sporting fan. I like all of their players. But yes, Gyökeres for me is just a lethal striker. And I feel like he'll fit the way we play under Arne Slot. So some interesting names there. I wouldn't mind any of them, to be honest with you. I just hope Liverpool do reinforce in the January window. Whether they're not, remains to be seen. And a final comment here. Was he on VAR when Pickford broke PVD's leg, Ozzy? Also against Spurs, yeah, when he was sent to Jota. And do you know what? From what I remember, I think he was on VAR. And he's been on in the VAR office numerous times and gave decisions against us. So the ones you're mentioning, I think the Van Dijk injury one rings a bell, if I'm being honest. I can't say it for 100% sure, but it does ring a bell. I feel like he was the official that just deemed it as, nothing happened. And, we all know what happened to Virgil van Dijk after that. So, yeah, good riddance, if you ask me. Let's hope PGMOL, do the right thing and dismiss him from all football. Honestly, I don't really care if it's just, if he can't just officiate in the Premier League. I don't want him officiating in this country full stop. I don't think any other country would take him because, you've basically disrespected the integrity of the game by saying things like that. People are like, oh, it's just an opinion. It's not. It's a bit more deeper than that. His opinion about a team that he probably referees a good few times a year. I'm being modest about saying a few times. He probably, referees us on some shape or form, whether it's in the VAR office or whether it's on the pitch or whether it's as a fourth official. He's going to have some kind of influence in making sure Liverpool don't get the upper hand, whether it's through a foul or offside or whatever he can do to influence the decision, he would do it subconsciously. And, he did it very directly in this game against Villa. And the whole world knew that that was an awful decision. For him to just go like this, suggesting that it's not in a foul, it's crazy. So, look, I don't, wish any downfall anyone, but yeah, he doesn't deserve to be refereeing this country full stop. So let's see what happens. I don't really have too many high hopes. I think he'll be suspended and then he'll just be downgraded to the lower leagues. I think that's what will probably happen. I don't think he's going to referee the lower leagues, but that's just my opinion. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for your comment. Thank you to Daz and Abdul Rahim. Appreciate your engagement as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. As the international break, obviously not doing any match previews or anything to that nature. So we'll be doing a couple FC25 live shows. So I'll try and do one this week, and then we'll do one on next week, and then we'll go back to our normal schedule and do a match preview of Liverpool's next game, which is Southampton versus Liverpool. So that will be next Thursday. So yeah, quite a long away, but we'll try and do some content on during the off period. And if there's any breaking news or if there's Liverpool related content that I want to do, I may do something impromptu. So best thing to do is follow me on social media at OZZIE'S Instagram, but also and more importantly, make sure you hit that notification bell on YouTube. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. You'll be able to watch all the latest content coming up, and you'll be supporting the channel by just doing that simply. And also like the video, as it also helps the algorithm to push my videos across the YouTube universe. So yeah, thank you for your support, guys. So as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.